Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Horizon Reports with me, Aisha Khan. According to the National AIDS Control Council, Kenya has an average HIV prevalence rate of 6%. And with about 1.6 million people living with HIV infection, it is one of the 6 HIV high-burden countries in Africa. Learning that you are HIV positive can be one of the most difficult experiences you go through in life. Rosemary Awo Olale, a community health worker at the Tuinuke na Tuendele Mbele organization in Nairobi, is a conqueror, having lived with HIV for over 18 years. I met her and filed the following report.
In 1998, Rosemary Awo Olale's life changed instantly. It was the results of the test she had undergone that brought her the shock of her life. She received the news no one wants to hear about. She was HIV positive. The turbulent history of HIV and AIDS dates back to around 1930s. It is thought the virus originated from chimpanzees in West Africa and crossed to humans. In 1980s, the virus was documented in Kenya for the first time. And at the time, there was fear to many people due to lack of knowledge on the virus. In 1983, researchers discovered that AIDS was caused by HIV infection. And in 1985, the first blood test to detect HIV was developed. At the Kenyatta National Hospital, Rosemary Olale received news that would change her life forever.
My firstborn son reached 2 years. He felt sick. The complications of malnutrition, TB, malaria, all came together. But I was even afraid to take him to the hospital because he was so tiny and thin. One day he paralyzed one side. He was walking and we thought he cannot walk again because one side of his body just shrank. Yeah. And taking him, one of our friends took us to Kenyatta National Hospital where he was admitted. After the admission, I stayed with him at Kenyatta National Hospital for 3 months. On the 4th month, he passed. He died. So when I was at Kenyatta, that was in '99 now, and that was the year that the former president, Daniel Moi, announced that HIV is a national disaster. So everyone who was at the hospital were being tested for HIV. I went for the test because all along I've been brought up in the church. I've never seen where I went wrong. My husband is like a pastor. So I thought that I'm going for the test. There's no virus, but they have forced me to go, let me go. So after the test, I got a shock of my life. I was HIV positive.
She was confused, not knowing what to do. She remained silent as she waited for her husband.
Nobody was coming to visit me in the hospital because my husband could not even get that transport to Kenyatta every day. So he used to come on Saturday. So when he came on Saturday, I just approached him. I was unfriendly to him because I thought maybe when I was at home, he used to work with other women. So I approached him and told him, you are the one who has infected me in front of people because I was that angry. I wanted to know where did the virus come from.
Her husband, upon receiving the shocking news and with nothing to say, he left Rosemary at the Kenyatta National Hospital. This was a sign of trouble to come.
So I quarreled at him and then he never uttered even a word to me. He walked away and then left me to Kenyatta. Even the day that the boy passed, it was like after 2 weeks he had never been to Kenyatta. So when the boy passed, I was like, where am I going to?
Despite the results, Rosemary decided to ignore them and instead blame the nurses for mixing her results with other patients.
I never accepted and I never agreed that I was HIV positive. How? How did it happen? Can somebody just become HIV positive? I thought that the doctors were mad.
After the second and third tests, the results never changed. She was HIV positive. and this made her go back to the drawing board with lots of questions in her mind. Why me? And how?
To me, I knew that somebody who has the AIDS virus is very thin. Somebody who is unbelievable. You are dying tomorrow. And after you know that you're HIV positive today, tomorrow you have been dead.
And then, death stroke. She lost her firstborn.
By then, he never talked to me. Because I was disclosing in a manner that even you cannot accept, like, you are the one who infected me in front of people. So he never talked. He looked at our son. He was sleeping, it was like lifeless because he could not speak. Somebody was speaking, he could not walk, he could not sit upright, he was just sleeping. And a lot of wires like for the blood was going in, the water, the oxygen. So he looked at the sun and then he walked out. After walking out, I thought maybe he will come back and then we can talk later. He never came back. After 3 weeks, the boy passed. So I had just to come back because I had nowhere to go. He's the one who drawn me from the Saya village.
There were more questions than the answers.
So after I stayed in Kenyatta, after the test I stayed for another 3 weeks. I did not die, so I thought it was maybe a mixed up.
In 1999, Rosemary was pregnant with her second child, but the memory of the results of her status was like her shadow.
So for the second pregnancy, I also went to the clinic, and then the doctors were like, everybody have to take the HIV test, and then they say, I'm not taking it. You have to take it. So I just gave them the blood. I never even went for the results.
Okay.
I went to the clinic once, and that was it. I never went back again. I went to give birth at Kenyatta National Hospital again. After giving birth, I came back with my baby. So during this birth, I also came to realize that when I was in labor pain, there was some blood that was drawn. After testing the blood, I realized that on my bed, there were a lot of people with the white coats. And then I was like, Zuzu, I don't even understand English. So they came, they looked at me, and then she's HIV positive, and then I was like, you are mad. You are the one who is HIV positive.
As time went by, they had to sit and discuss this disaster with the husband.
Again in 2002, I was pregnant with a girl.
Wow.
But with the girl, I went to the clinic, I did some tests again. I was HIV positive still. But I was doing no protection. I was taking no medicine. It was just me and my HIV and my husband. So by that time, I came back and also told him that I'm HIV positive again. And he said, you are used to this song, like HIV positive, HIV positive. What do you gain after singing it? And then I said, no, it is not a song. It's a serious matter. And then he said, maybe there's a confusion. Because he has gone for the test, he's negative. There is no way I can be positive and he's negative.
In 2002, she was pregnant with their third child.
I had another baby boy.
And all your children were negative?
They are all negative.
Due to her not accepting her status, she refused to take medicine and her condition was worsening. And then her husband walked out.
So this started in the year 2003. After giving birth to this baby boy, I went down with TB and herpes zoster. This side of mine, I had no skin. And I was with TB because I was sweating a lot. It was very early in the morning and I was sweating like shh. And they asked, have you taken bath? I said, yes, I took bath. And why are you sweating? And then I don't know. Do you cough? Yes, I cough a lot at night and during daytime I'm okay. Do you eat? Yes, I eat when I get food, but if I don't get, I don't eat. And then the doctors asked me to do some little test and then said, HIV test, I'm not going to take it. Because it is your blood that you are testing and saying it is my blood. So this doctor asked me that we are not going to do HIV test, but we are going to do the TB test for you. After After 2 days, I did the sputum, and after 2 days, I went for the result. I had TB, and it was the chronic TB. That time, my husband realized that there is death in this house. He walked out.
Her life was full of problems, resulting to losing friends and even being denied from using the bathroom.
You know, in the house, and there are 4 people, everybody is there railing, including the mother. I could not walk from my house to the toilet because when I walked, the toilet was built somewhere far from from our house, and then from my house to the toilet, we shared the toilet with the neighbors. So whenever one sees you going towards that place, they just go and lock that toilet. So you cannot use the toilet because you are going to infect everybody.
Despite not accepting her status, Rosemary never gave up to fight for her life and that of her children.
I had to go to Kenya by myself to beg for food. I had to go to Redeem to beg for food. And I did it for another 5 months, and I started to be strong. I heard that World Vision were recruiting youths for the tailoring course. And with that status of mine, I thought they will not even recognize that there is somebody there. Did you accept it at that point? I never accepted.
You never accepted?
I never accepted. I went to the recruitment, first lot, they were talking in tongues, like, even the dead people are coming for the recruitment. And I was like, who is dying? You have to recruit me. And there is that lady, her name is Lydia, and then I kept on going. There were 3 days recruitment. People were pushing, people were bribing, and I had no man. On the 3rd day, that lady saw me, and then she said, you have been coming here every day. Are you sure you want this course, or you are just coming here to play around? And then I said, I want the course. And then she said, we are going to take people to Eastleigh. Will you be able to reach Eastleigh? And I said, I'll be going to Eastleigh. And we were taken to the life skill training, where we were being given 100 shillings for the transport reimbursement.
She had no food for herself and for her children.
So one of my friends could come. She was coming from the other plot. She could come and take a jug from my house, go to Kenwa, that was Kenya Network of Women Living with HIV and AIDS, bring for me some porridge for the kids. That was what we could survive. That went for like a year and a half.
And then she met a friend whom she remembers very well.
So one day, as I was going to Kenwa, there are Muslim brothers that lives in Korogosho too. So they used to offer people these domestic works to do, but nobody could even take me for that domestic work because they thought if she comes to my house, she might even infect me. So as I was going to Kenwa, I met my friend, Lucy. That was the first time I was setting my eyes on her. When I looked at her, she was also so skinny, and she was also heading to Kenwa. And by those time, nobody wanted to go to Kenwa like direct, like you're walking into that door. And you can come and then pass, check who is over there, who is seeing you, and then you pass again, and then you come straight inside. We never wanted anybody to know that we are HIV positive, because anybody who goes there was HIV positive, and we were not. Yeah. To me, I was not. So when I reached Kenwa, Lucy passed, and then she passed again, and she came, and she sat into the corner. When she sat into the corner, I went and started speaking to her. And then she said, I asked her to be my friend so that she can know where I live, because she was also living just near the place where I used to live. So she came and visited me. I also visited her. I shared with her the story of our toilet, how it is being locked. And then she said theirs was even worse, because even the bathroom, she could not use the same bathroom with the neighbors.
Together, they managed to get more women who had similar status, and it was the turning point in her life.
And then she said, you have a sewing machine? I said, yes, I have a sewing machine. And then she said, why don't you do the tailoring? And then I said, nobody will even buy. Nobody will even want me to do their dresses. And then she said, can you teach me? And I said, yes, I also think of sharing these skills because I knew I am going to die. I never had hope of living. So instead of dying with the skills, can I share the skills? And I said, yes, I want to share it with you. And then she said, there's also one of my neighbors who is also HIV positive. The husband used to kick her out very late in the night. Can I come with her? And then I said, yes, I want everybody who is HIV positive to come so that we can share these skills. So Lucy the other day came with Mary. Mary is still here, but Lucy passed away last year. When they came, we talked, and then we said, I can share the skills, and we can also do little beadwork. After the exhibition, we joined the Asante Mama Chama Award, and we merged the winners. Because Lucy was like, you want to join the competition, and you are dying. How is a dead person going to compete? And say, I want to win before I die.
Worldwide, people living with HIV and AIDS have multiple sources of stress. The disease itself, financial burdens, stigma and discrimination, pressure from worrying about family, amongst others.
So I joined the competition. We joined the competition as a team. The first shot was done at Kawangware. We went with Lucy. And to the shocking, when they called the chairpersons, it was like the two people were put together. You find very beautiful women being the chairpersons, very huge women. And Lucy was like, Rosemary, let's do this. Let's walk out. Because we did not want to embarrass ourselves, like we are going there, we have nothing good to share. And when we were discussing about this, one of the judges realized that there was something that was hurting us. And then they called me, the chair lady of Tuinuke, are you around? And then was, Lucy, why don't you say it was you? Because to me, my skin has not healed well. I had some spots. And I said, Lucy, just say it is you. And then she said, no, it is you who is the chairperson. And then yes, we are here. The chairperson to walk in front. And I looked at Lucy, I told her, please, can you walk? No, just walk. So I went in front. By that time, even our dressing code was not that could fit some little income. We stopped going to Kenwa for food. We could do some food for ourselves. We could cook, but we did not have that enough money. So when I walked in front, I was looking at Lucy, and then we were asked, why did you form the group? You formed a group to con people. And I was like, no, we are not conning people. We are just selling to sustain our livelihood before we die. And all the judges laughed. And why do you want to die? And then I told them we are all HIV positive and we are working together, waiting for the time to come. The skills that we are having, we are also sharing with other women who are HIV positive and who are not HIV positive, so that we die empty. And then it was like, oh, we are not going to question you anymore, just go back. So I went back, we packed our things, and then we left.
There was pressure from her family to get back with her husband, bearing in mind she had 3 children and now a single mother struggling with illness as well.
So in 2007, when I went to the burial of my sister, I thought of looking for the roots for my kids. You know, with the parents, they just keep on pushing you. You're now having the boy children. Where will you take them? They need a land. You have to go back to your husband. So I asked them to go and call that somebody they call the husband, because I never wanted them to know that I'm HIV positive, because I've now decided to say that I'm not. Yes, I've accepted, and by that time I did not have the virus. So when he was called, by that time he had also got the wife. He had married 2 wives, one who died also of HIV, I don't know how it happened, and the other one that they were having was also very sick. So when he was told that I'm at the upcountry and I wanted to see him, he came. And then he was like, can we go back to Nairobi? And I was like, what are you going to do in Nairobi? We are just going to settle down and see how life goes on. And I said, what about your sick wife? Are you going to come with her? Is our house going to accommodate 7 persons? He was like, no, we are not going to come with her. He's going to stay here with my grandma. And I was like, oh, you want to kill her the way you wanted to kill me. Just make sure you bury her before you come back to bury me at Langata. So he stayed with the wife. I came and then forgotten like somebody was to follow me behind. After 6 months, he came back. The wife had just passed away.
And to her surprise, after all these years of testing, the husband never tested positive.
So he was like, maybe I'm HIV positive and the machines cannot detect. And then I was like, I don't know, I'm not the machine. And when he came back, we tried to unite again, but it's really difficult. There are some of the scenes that you cannot forget, like the in-laws coming to pick the things, and then they were like, you are going to be banged in Langata, and then your kids looking at them, and then they were like, oh, we used to have a father, now he's back. What are you going to do with him? And they said, he's going to be my husband. Like my older son, he normally asks, what are you going to do with him? And what happens if he walks away again? Because you are not going to heal now. The antidotes are not there. You're HIV positive to death.
She kept her status secret to her kids, but not for long. The truth had to come out.
Nilipopata habari kuwa mzazi wangu akona virusi vya ugonjwa wa ukimwi, siku hiyo nilistuka, nilibaki na wasiwasi, lakini vile mamangu tumetoka naye mbali, nikaona tutaendelea tu na maisha, nikachukua ni kama ni kitu normal.
First, kabla mamangu hajaniambia, alikuwa anaisema ana joke, so mimi nilichukulia kama jokes. Then nikifika class 7 ndiye akasema, bado sikuamini. Nikifika class 8 tukaenda tukapima, nikapata kuna ukimwi. Of course lazima ingeni interrupt kidogo. So kama tukiwa second term nikawa mgonjwa, yani niko na stress kuhusu hiyo situation ya mamangu, but nilikuja tu nikawa tu sawa.
Worse still for them, she had been living with the virus since before the 3 kids were born, and she had not been on treatment.
Sasa hizi inabidi tumemshughulikia ile tu sana. Tunamsikiza kitu anasema kwa sababu tusipomshughulikia ataona ama tumpendi.
Nilikuwa bado boarding, lakini bado nilikuwa na ile form 1, boarding form 1, bado nilikuwa na utoto. Sasa niliambiwa hivi, nilianza kulia. Nikalia. Hadi nikamwacha, nikaenda sijikumbuki nilienda wapi. Nikakaa mpaka jioni. Nika made up my mind, nikaamua tu kama alikuwa na hizo siku zote na amenifikisha form 1, bado naweza nipeleka. Lakini tunaishi tukijua tu siku tu moja anaweza enda, lakini hatuna uoga.
Kutoka nikiwa baby class hadi hiyo class 8 tulikuwa tu tunaishi na ako nayo. Sasa akiwa na tungeweza kumneglect, ilibidi tumempenda tu venye.
It was not easy for the kids, but they had to stay strong for their mother.
Ile mapenzi, mzazi akiwa na hiyo ugonjwa, akiona mnampenda, mnamshughulikia, ataona hakuna watu wa kumpenda, wa kuwa karibu naye. Alafu naweza washauri hiyo ugonjwa isikuwe sababu yao ya maybe kukosa kusoma ama kukosa kuachieve goals zao. Wasiweke kwa akili, juu mzazi ni mgonjwa, sasa sitasoma ama kitu chochote. Wasome tu, maybe Mungu ana sababu ya mzazi wao kuwa mgonjwa, so wasome, then au ndo waweze kuwatoa wazazi wao hapo, wapeleke mahali pengine, mahali pazuri.
And in school?
Shuleni mko naogopa kukaa na wenzako, manake ukikaa nao wanaanza hiyo story. Una feel like kila mtu akupendi, wanakuweka kando, azini wakupendi. But teachers wangu walikuwa washajua, walikuwa tu karibu na mimi, walikuwa wananipea motisha.
The parents' love has seen them stay strong. They appreciate the love their father has given them.
Mamangu akienda job ama kitu kingine anatushughulikia. Sasa mamangu akiwa huko nje anaona kuna mtu ameacha na analinda watoto wake. Sasa mamangu anakuwa strong, anajipa hope.
Kenya had the joint 4th largest HIV epidemic in the world, alongside Mozambique and Uganda, with 1.6 million people living with HIV in 2016. Today, when you walk in the streets, it will be almost impossible to single out a person who is HIV positive, and the fact that you have it, it's not your death sentence. Rosemary is just one of the women out there ready to tell their story. Her husband is HIV negative and her children too. Are you surprised? Well, this is possible. For Horizon Reports, I am Aisha Khan.